Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning to you all. Welcome back to Eco Neighbors channel. Hope y'all doing well. Hope everything's going well. Harold Wilson, how you doing today? How you feeling today? I hope everything is going well to you. Welcome in, and I appreciate that. Congratulations, my brother, on your blessed journey. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for tuning in. I hope everything's going well. And for those of you that may be watching this either now live or maybe later,
hope everything's going well.
uh, make sure you leave a comment, put some T's in the chat if you're in the chat. And if you're watching it, even if you're watching a little bit later, put some T's in the comments because this is it won't happen, Gigi. Don't worry about that. It won't happen. That wasn't even in the goal or in the plan. I got you. Bless up, bless up. Thank you for looking out. Today is a beautiful day, not just any day, but every day. We're going to have a discussion about security on the homestead. A lot of us, we're doing this journey, we taking these journey, and we pursuing our dreams, and we out here living in this life of abundance, and we enjoying every day. But we got to make sure that we take these liberties serious. We got to make sure that we fortify our investments, and we got to make sure that we truly protect our family, our property, our animals, our investments. So we're going to talk a little bit about security. So I'm hoping you all can kind of hang around, and this will not be all eco. I want you to share some of your insight too. And if you're experienced with some of these things, I want you to put in the comments too as well, because we just collaborate. We just vibe. That's what we do. Family man, what's going on? Bless up, bless up, bless up. Put some T's in the chat, fam. Put some T's in the chat. That beautiful backdrop, my brother. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. We're in the certain section of the property where we got the layered effect where I got this part right here cleaned up right here, but then you go a little bit further back and you go deep into the woods, and yeah, it's pretty deep back there. But it's that video, when I look at it on the video a lot of time, it don't do it justice, man. It's one of those things where you have to really be there to see it. And y'all see, I love my banana trees. I love my tropical look. The weather is changing, and these banana trees, they will get pretty much dormant. They'll go dormant. I'm going to mulch them up a little bit more. The first cold is going to dry them out. And then come next year, if the Lord be willing, they'll start standing up again. These hadn't been here that long. I've been taking my banana trees and kind of dividing them up. So, hey, Kathy B, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hope all is well. What's up, Gigi? All day, every day. Good to see you, baby. Good to see you. Welcome on in. All right, so let's talk about homesteading and the defense or protection. One of the first things that I think is so important and critical is that you know the lay of your land. And what I mean by that, get familiar with the going and the comings. In the background, you may hear certain birds. Keep cardinals close to your establishment. If you can feed some cardinals, feed them. The reason why I say keep cardinals close to you and on your property, and this is where I am down here in Zone 9A in the state of Florida. I'm talking about the South. Cardinals are very beneficial with home security or homestead security. And why I say cardinals, they the red birds. They are very beneficial because of the fact that if you ever in an outdoor situation, cardinals will alert and let you know when something is moving around in the woods or in the forest, right? So on the land, you could be sitting out in your yard or your cleared area. And if you hear some distinct chirps, that you'll get familiar with it, but cardinals will give you alert to let you know that something's over there. Birds are so important. That's a part of your defense too as well. Now, when it comes to pests, because we get attacked in different ways, try to establish in your garden or your growing area, have places that birds can perch. Not only small birds, but big birds too as well, because birds can help protect you not only from pests, they can also help you protect from rats, mice, all those different things. So we framed out a section of our garden, and let's see, I got perches in the trees. I have like basically all it is just a piece of wood, and then I have another L-shaped piece of wood in trees, just different places in trees. You want the birds to be very comfortable around your homestead. Now, yes, when you walk through the woods, the cardinals will chirp to let other animals know that you're walking through too. But after a while, they settle down. If you're not going through the woods with a bunch of noise or what have you like that, they will chirp too. Another beneficial bird to have around your house are doves. These little walking like doves that walk around the homestead, they definitely will alert you and let you know if something is coming, because we have predators here too. We have coyotes, we have some wolves. Some people have said they've seen panthers here and around the area. So I don't know if we have too many bears or not, but they can help alert you and allow you to be prepared to look in that direction, to be more alert, to pay attention to whether something's coming through. Sometimes it's hardly nothing. Sometimes it might be, they don't even do it with the squirrels. They only do it with certain types of mammals mainly. So if there's a cat, if there's, whether it's large or small, could be a bobcat. If there's any type of mammal that walks through the woods, some of these birds will alert you. They'll fly off like the doves. They walk on the ground a lot, and then they'll just fly off. And when they fly off, it typically means something is around there lurking around. Could be snakes, different things like that. So that can be another additional line of defense. So be kind to the birds in your area. Keep birds close to your homestead, and that will help you while you're outside to be alert. Another defense is, or use of protection, is dogs. Dogs are very beneficial. And I mean, you have certain types of dogs. So it really depends on what you want to do. And when I say dogs, it does not mean size of dog. Like, you have companion dogs, dogs that pretty much you keep close to you. You have large protecting dogs. You have various types of dog breeds that do certain things. Some of them are bred to be on a farm, or be bred to be out here in this type of setting. If you have wild hogs, you have certain dogs that can manage and help keep wild boar, because there's a lot of things that can harm you if you're not careful. So knowing the lay of your land, knowing what's on your property, knowing if you had a lot of water on your property, know you're going to be inviting all kinds of wildlife, and including humans as well, because some people go on people's property to fish, some people go on people's property to hunt. And if you have water or water features, a stream or anything like that, you're going to have a lot of traffic on your land. And when you have a lot of traffic on your land, you need to watch, put some sandy areas, maybe get a rake and rake out some areas around certain pathways. And what I like to do, because I got sandy soil, I like to look at the footprints to see which type of animals are on the property, and learn the different footprints and patterns. And also you can see what kind of, basically approximately what size of animals too. Like, you can tell a bobcat print, but then There's some bobcats that there was one that was hit by a car not too far from us, was big. He was a nice sized bobcat. So they can get quite large considering a cat. And if anybody know anything about bobcats, they can create some damage. And the worst thing you want to do, be out here walking on a nature trail and you startle an animal the wrong way. So you want to listen out. You want to pay attention. And sometimes you want to make yourself heard and seen. So there's the wrong with talking or singing as you walk. That way you can keep everything kind of cleared out as you go. Because if they hear any type of noise or anything like that, then typically most animals will leave that situation. Another thing that you want to definitely be aware of that I had to I had the experience in seeing down the road a ways. It was a raccoon, and that raccoon looked like he had issues like rabies, right? Things like that you need to be able to see, identify, and know the patterns and know the trends. Most animals will not approach you. Most animals will leave the area and try to not come in contact with you. Now, there are some reasons why they may not. It could be they have baby, they have youth, and they're going to protect the youth. They could be hurt, they could be lame or something like that. So just keep those things in mind and know the lay of your land and know what is normal versus what is not normal, because that's going to help you to gauge whether you need to come in contact or whether you need to avoid a situation. All right, let me go to the chat. Let's see. They also drop seeds. That's how we got our arugula. Cool. Yeah. Birds drop seeds. Birds will help you in your garden. So birds can be a good friend if you allow them to be a friend. Like I said, create the environment where it's welcome. Like if you see right here behind me, I hate this thing because I don't never know which direction I'm in. This right here, we have watering. Like I told you in the previous lives, put watering places that animals can water. Birds love the bird bath. Other animals love the bird bath too as well. I've seen a raccoon go up there and rinse his food off. I've seen squirrels on this bird bath. Of course, the birds, they come. But when you make it inviting, you make it nice, and then you put hedges sometimes around your homestead, dense hedges. You can maintain them, you can keep it. You don't have to have a whole wall of them, but if you get some plants like hedge plants, they love to build nests in those places. When birds start to build nests, they can help keep a lot of the insects down, pests down, and they can be very beneficial. And like I said, they can give you a warning too as well. All right, let's see. Thanks. I appreciate that, family man. Thank you, Gigi. Another thing that you want to consider when it comes to keeping and maintaining security is some people want to use fencing. You can use fencing. You can also let natural barriers be a line of defense too. Fencing can be very expensive and it can be challenging too at the same time. Depends on what you want to do. Like some people, they have to get surveys on the land, make sure they don't cross certain things and make sure they do enough. Sometimes you got to give easements. You can't just put a fence wherever you want to, especially when you're dealing with roadways or your neighboring properties. So it can be sometimes quite a bit. I don't know if I want to truly fence my whole entire property. That would be crazy costly. But sometimes you want to just section off certain areas like we've done on our property, section off certain areas to be like to protect certain things, certain plants that we have. We have a fence barrier around them. The homestead itself, I like to have a natural barrier like woods. The good thing about having a natural barrier is average people don't want to come through the woods, right? because they don't know. They want to have the advantage. Most thieves are not. They don't want a lot of opposition. They want it as easy as possible and as quick as possible. Most thieves don't want nothing that's really challenging. Now, you do get some people that's going to just be nosy, or some thieves may feel like it's something back there. I know it's something more that's back there. So one of the things that we like to do is use the element of surprise. We have wandering paths. We have multiple paths. Some of them lead to nowhere. Some of them do lead to a different way. But when you have a wood buffer and you have or a natural buffer, that can be like another line of defense, because not only do you let it overgrow, notice back here, we don't do no trimming, no nothing like that. We just let it just grow real thick. And if you pay attention, if you look right here, just as an example, that is a thicket. And that thicket is full of vines, thorns, all kinds of different things. And most two-legged animals don't even want to contend with that or deal with that. So now it forces them to go only on one main roadway, and you want a good, clear view of anything entering or exiting out of that one pathway. Imagine this. You have a piece of property. The road front piece of the property is full of thick, dense woods. Leave it like that. I know you may want it nice, clean. You want to put the beautiful evergreens over there and all that. Leave it woodsy. Just leave it, the thicket, all of that, with the thorns and all of that. And then once you get back further, then you can open it up and clean it up. But then you want to also position yourself where you can see a clear shot of when someone or something is entering in on your property. It gives you a competitive advantage, because now it's a narrow view versus a wide view. Imagine if you have a piece of property and it's wide open and everybody can see in and you can see everything out. That can be great, maybe in a neighborhood or something like that. But when you got a decent amount of land and you don't have the resources to fence it all in, why not allow that natural barrier? Now, another thing about a fence may be 6 foot high or maybe 8 foot high, but this density is what I would say maybe 12 feet in height. So it provides that dense impact. Now let's talk about, if someone or something is coming through that thicket, guess what I'm going to do? I want to leave my leaves and all the bottom, because a lot of times what a lot of people do, and people say, what you need to do, you need to burn. Go ahead and burn, or you get some goats out here and then they eat up everything, right? And then, or you put some animals back there, they'll clear everything out. That's maybe fine when it comes to aesthetics. But one problem with that, if anything is walking through that brush, I can hear it. Because right now, let's be quiet right now. The wind is slightly blowing and I can hear the trees with the crack. I can hear the trees cracking. Out in the rural country, it's quiet. You can hear for miles, right? And if something is approaching me, even though my back is turned, I can hear it coming, because it got to go through the thicket. And I got woods surrounded completely around our establishment. So not only does it slow people or predators down, what it does, it also alerts me. Guess what it also does for the dogs and for the animals? If there's crackling of leaves and sounding and breaking of branches, your dogs will alert you. Even if you have chickens and roosters, don't sleep on your animals. Some of your animals will also alert you. Donkeys are a great line of defense if you have cattle or anything like that, because donkeys will help deter the coyotes and maybe even some other predatory animals. So there's so many natural line of defense. And I know a lot of y'all thought I was going to pull out my whole seed dispensers, but I want to talk about some real line of defense, because what happens when you run out of seeds? You still need to survive. You still need to be able to protect yourself in your homestead. Good morning, Tammy. Good morning. How you doing? Good morning. Good to see you. Shahu, good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see. Good morning, everyone. Sorry about it. You good? You good? You good? Chickens. Especially chickens and dogs. Yeah. Uh, Once you get familiar with the lay of the land, once you get familiar with the patterns of your pets and your animals, your livestock, your different animals, they they send messages. They communicate all the time. And sometimes we get so busy, we get so distracted with all the different things in the city life and all the different things. We really don't get in tune with nature. When you get out of here and you get rid of all those distractions and you get out here in nature, you get out here to start fellowshipping with the nature, there's certain calls that the woodpecker can make that I know. There's crows. When crows around, buzzards around, it tells you things. Something's dead or they're on the hunt, right? So there's a lot of different things that nature tells us that helps us to keep us safe. And once you start paying attention, because the roosters will crow if they hear something or someone, even when we have visitors that come onto the property, the roosters, Sean and all the Sean predecessors would crow. And I knew, okay, somebody out there or somebody over there, they'll let you know. My dog doesn't bark a lot. My dog rarely barks. But when Shaka barks, I know something is out there. Now, what it is, that's another thing. So let's talk about that. A line of defense. Start getting familiar. If we get a natural barrier around us, start finding you places to sit in that natural barrier environment. Even right here, even if you get on the edge, you don't have to go in there, but just get on the edge and just sit there some days. Some days I just sit there and I might sit there for an hour or so. What I'm doing is I'm taking in the traffic, the flow, the sounds, the smells. I'm learning a lot of different things about my own environment. At first, if you're not familiar with living out in the rural area, I grew up in the woods, right? I got away from it for over 30 years. And so I had to come back and reset. In the beginning, when you're out here by yourself, you hear this going through the woods. And a lot of people that go on walking trails with me, they be like, oh, Lord, what is that? That's a squirrel. Oh, that's probably a bunny rabbit. Or that could be whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's a difference between a large mammal sound. Now, cats are something else. I'm going to tell you, I'll tell you some situations. I seen times I went down this end of the trail, right? And before I knew it, a bobcat stepped out. Bobcats, now cats are totally different. Even the wild cats out here, we got wild cats out here, just where people didn't just, one thing about the country, when I first got here, it was so many wild, stray animals, and people bring all their things that they don't want to the country and they just drop them off. But once I got rid of the food source and when I be practicing with my seed distribution, they don't like that sound. And so they did get the tour. So you get rid of all the junk because people were dumping their trash into the woods, into the thicket. And then I had to start making myself known and seen. So one of the another things, which leads me to another thing, even though you're on the edge of the road and it's thicket and it looks like no one lives back there, sometimes you have to make yourself visible so people know that you are living back there, because that's important. Because if people don't think, like one guy told me, oh man, I ain't know nobody was back there. He said, man, we used to go back there hunting for years. That's important. That can be another line of defense, letting people know that, hey, there's someone back here now. Putting up signs, no trespassing. you know, um, no hunting, you know, all of these things can be very beneficial to you because imagine entering into a section of the woods and they don't, when you're in the woods, you don't have borders far as you're just walking through the woods. And so you don't say, oh, I'm on such and such property, or I'm on such and such property, unless you got an app or something like that. So people sometimes will bleed over into someone else's. So you want to make yourself somewhat known, let people know that, hey, we're back here, and I want them to see me picking up trash alongside the roadway. That's a way not telling them if they respect you or somewhat respect you. People start seeing, oh, this guy, he tried to take care around the area. I'll pick a different place to throw it. They're still gonna throw it out. And some of them will still throw trash and debris out. That's fine. But I try to keep a lot of the food, debris, and all that kind of stuff. I try to pick it up and get it, because what that does, that invites a lot of different animals. And if you keep it trashy, people will start throwing everything around the area. So that's one thing that kind of disappoints me about in the rural country. People will bring furniture. People will dump. One thing that saddens me, I'm going to be keep it dead 100. Either it's agricultural equipment or it's a 18-wheeler. But periodically, there's a person. I wish I could catch them. It's not on my property, but it's down the road, and they leave it in various spots down the road. They will change their oil and have oil filters, 2 oil filters, and all the oil dumped on the side of the road. Sometimes it's on one side of the road, sometimes on the other side of the road. And it just infuriates me because it's so disrespectful when you see such a beautiful landscape, because it's fields upon fields, and it's just natural. It's just beautiful where they dump it at. And it just, some people, they just country, and that's what they do. And some people be like, hey, you get a dog, I don't want to take him to the pound, so I take him to the country and I release him in the country, And so you do get stray animals from time to time. So you may want to consider your area, make sure that it has a presence, make sure you clean up debris that may make it inviting for other animals and other wildlife. So that's another thing for us defense. Natural defense is amazing. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, when they get property, what's up, the educated natural? How you doing? Good morning. Good morning to you. Some people, what they want to do, they want to knock down all the trees. They, let's just knock down all the trees. Let's do this. But give yourself a natural barrier, That natural barrier is very helpful. Not only does it keep an environment for nature, but it also can be a deterrent. Doesn't mean always, or it can slow down. So let's talk about the reason why it's important to slow someone or something down on your property. Game cams. Place game cams. Look for trails, natural trails by animals. Make sure that you put it the height of animals. Sometimes you may get a game cam and you might not see nothing. That there's a little path through the woods and I'm not catching them. Sometimes people put game cams too high. Think about what's walking. What's walking is probably 3 feet or under. So you want to put it around that 3 feet spot so you can get the ground and you can get a little height to it. The reason why you want to do that, so you can truly see what's coming and what's going, right? Now, the reason why you want to slow things down, because we have game cams throughout the property, and we have where they work on a cellular signal on some of them, right? So that cellular signal will give a message. Once something crossed that path, it'll take multiple pictures and video, and then it'll send a message to our phone, and it will show us what it took a picture of. That's crucial. That's very important. Now, if they're walking through the woods, whether it's animal or human, even though a human is an animal, but I just try to make sure we understand what we're talking about. But that thicket will slow that process down, because there is a delay with that message sending to your cell phone. So with that barrier and that thicket, instead of being right there on that road and clearing everything out, it'll send you a message and it'll slow whatever the animal or the turn, and to give you enough time to get yourself prepared and ready to address the trespasser, or if it's a threat, it gives you enough time to be prepared. Otherwise, if it was just straight clear, by the time they're there, then the message will come through. So that's something that you definitely want to, keep in mind. Let's see. Everybody speaking. Any questions? Anybody want to? What's up? The off the grid trucker. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Anybody want to chime in? Please chime in. Anybody wants to maybe ask questions of what are some of the threats that you encounter? A threat. What I call a threat. Anything could be a threat. A threat is anything that can cause me bodily harm or put me in bodily injury. I had a video some months ago where I say, put items in your woods that make people curious. This is for humans protection. If just say I got enough land here where I don't know whether I can't patrol every piece of it, right? I can't patrol everything. So there could be times where people could enter onto the land and exit the land. I've left notes as far as a folded up sheet of paper and put it on a branch. I have different things that may be fascinating to a curious person. And so I look at those things and I go check those things in the woods, and they just spread out throughout the woods. It's funny. It's like, imagine this. I'm gonna give you a cheat code. Y'all take notes of this. Not only animals, but people too. Place a mirror somewhere in the woods along with your game cam, where they'll pay attention not to the game cam, but they'll pay attention to the mirror, and they'll stop. And I don't know what it is. When you pass a mirror, you got to look at yourself. Animals do the same thing. Meanwhile, it gives the camera enough time, because if they moving real fast, sometimes the camera don't always catch, but it'll give them enough time to stop for a minute, to look, and them seconds will get that trigger enough time to see that item. So you just got to be creative. Have fun, be creative. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be nothing major or anything. These are low cost, easy ways to just do different things so that you can see patterns. You can see different things. There's movement, all these different things that are coming through. Another thing, have a path. Just say you frequent a path, right? Consider this. Some paths, especially when you're dealing with paths on the border of your property, throughout your property, I like to open up paths that nature has taken. So a lot of my trails, they were established by nature, right? So I follow some of the paths of nature, and they love it. I mean, the trails, they love those trails, and on the edge of them, they know that animals are going to come, and most animals don't want to walk through no thicket either. They want to walk alongside a trail. Another thing with trails, some walking trails, leave rocks, stumps, branches where you have to bend down. Leave them on your trail. Have those trails, like especially branches, low-hanging branches or old dead branches, have them along your trail. Not only will it help you with your mobility, not only will it help with your stretching and bending, but guess what it'll also do? If someone comes to that trail and they chop and knock it down, especially when you do it on a routine, you already know where those branches or different things are, and your mind will automatically tell you, okay, here we go. Whoa, wait a minute. What happened to this branch? Because animals won't knock it down, right? They used to doing all of that. But if you leave it, you can tell whether a two-legged animal has came through, because typically what'll happen is they're going to clear that path. And when you see those broken branches, that's an alert system. So it'll tell you, okay, someone's coming in and somebody's going out. So I need to set up some security cameras in this area, this proximity, to watch whether somebody coming in and whether somebody coming out. Because one thing about security cameras, which I love, they will give you a date stamp. They will give you the time. They give you the date, right? And it gives you, it lets you know whether it's at night, evening time, morning time, because animals, just like people, they creatures of habit. And if they're successful with doing something, they're typically going to try to do it again the same time, right? So these are little different things you can do, you know. Another thing, use decoys. Decoys are very helpful too. Just like in the garden, you use a scarecrow to scare certain birds away. They eat your corn, to keep it from eating your corn. Also, put up silhouettes in your homestead, around your homestead. I'm telling you, people, animals that's tiptoeing and is creeping around, and if they see something that looks like somebody is standing there watching them, I know one guy, he lives down the road. He has a mannequin and is sitting in a chair with his feet up. And I talked to the sheriff one time because I thought it was somebody out there in the yard. Now he's in the middle of nowhere. It's like no other houses around there, but you can look when you pass by the road, you can see this mannequin sitting in the chair. And there have been people who have said that have called law enforcement to go do a wellness check because they thought it was a human. I'm not saying stop traffic, but I'm saying somewhere on your property, sometimes it's okay to set up like decoys or different things like that, deterrent to make people or animals to be like, whoa, wait a minute. Is that a man? Is that a human? Now, animals, they pretty smart. They're going to slowly test it. They might scare them in the beginning, but then they're going to slowly test it, and then they realize they're not a threat. And then they're just going to keep on going. But you can use that in the opposite way too, you know. So you can try that, and then they be like, oh, that ain't a threat. And then sometimes you can change it out with being you if it comes to a hunting situation too at the same time. So, you know, a lot of those things, they can work. Another protection when we talk about wildlife, right? Don't be afraid. And men probably could do this a whole lot easier than maybe our sisters out there, but sisters can do it too. Urinate in different places of your property that you don't want animals or different things to just come into an area, because the scent that you have, it can deter some of the animals. You know, they don't want to really be around, especially when there's abundance of woods and other options and they got other food sources. They don't really want to be around humans. Okay. So most animals really don't want to come in contact with humans because they understand that from the creator has instilled that fear of man. So that's another thing too as well. Where we at? Let's see. G said, one minute. The off the grid. You're making a valid point, bro. I appreciate that. I'm hoping these things will be helpful to you because there's so many different ways that you can strategize. You can have trip cords. You can have a lot of different things. I won't go in details of some of the things. Some of these sticker brow branches or these vines, they full of thorns and different things like that. You can lay them down in certain areas if you don't want like pests and or deer, they don't care, but some other animals with soft padding. If you're trying to grow a certain tree or certain things you're trying to protect in nature, you can put a lot of them thorns and just put them around like mulch around your plant, not close to them, but just on the outskirts. That way they don't want to step on none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Animals don't want to get stuck. The worst thing that can happen is for them to get injured. And then now they have to contend with that. Most animals do not want to get injured. So there's a lot of creative things that you could do to protect not only you, your wildlife and your plants too as well. Doug, what's up, man? Good morning. How do you power the game cams, and how far apart do you space them? Thank you. I wish I wasn't driving right now. Hey, safe travels. Great question. There's various ways you can power your game cams. Of course, there's certain ones that I like more than others, but I use a good grade of Energizer. And I'm not being paid by Energizer, but I used to be a photographer. And when you a photographer and you did a lot of shoots and a lot of photo shoots and you did long events, I've tried a lot of different batteries, but those silver colored um, um, Energizer batteries, to me, I've been more successful with the longevity of those. Now, especially the ones that has video, because the game cams that have the cellular signal and the photograph, find somewhere else to go, that takes video, they do suck up a lot of energy. There are options where you can put rechargeable batteries in there, and the game cam has an option too where you can put, if you're my I got so much, well, first of all, I got so much dense woods that I don't do the cell the not solar panel attachment, because not only is it big and bulky, I carve out places, like I like put my game cams maybe in a dead tree and open up the dead tree and kind of cut out a piece, or I'll take a piece of bark, and then I might adhere that bark on front of it, because there's so many different things that I don't want to be so obvious. Now, in my okay, let me slow down. In certain areas, I don't want to be obvious with my game cam, right? Some areas I do want to be obvious with my game cams. Some areas I set up decoy game cams when I'm dealing with humans, when I'm trying to deter humans, right? The reason why I want to be obvious, so they know that I can see you and I'm present, right? And sometimes people will steal game cams, right? So sometimes the decoys are the ones where I'm putting them out there so you see. And so if they take them, they're not paying attention to the real ones, if that makes sense. So you got different things. Now you also can get extended lithium batteries for your game cams too. They have certain packs in addition. Game cams have come so far advanced. It's amazing. So let's talk about the life of one of our game cams. Our most used game cam is probably our entry and exits game cameras, right? They get more because we get deliveries, we get people coming, we get people going, all that kind of stuff. We get a lot of alerts and a lot of movement. They may last about maybe 2 months. Really depends on the use, but the average is about 2 months. Sometimes we can get a little bit more out of it, but one thing, if we do just the regular old batteries, I have to change them a lot. And so, yes, they might be cheaper, but the inconvenience of changing it, and also it adds up to where you might as well just spend some extra money for some good quality batteries, and you can extend the life of them. And what I'll do is I take the bank of batteries, because they come, I mean, most game cams use a lot of batteries, about like 8 to 12 or something like that. And the ones that burn out, I'm able to take those and put in my other game cams where they don't take video, they don't have a cellular signal, and they'll still work for quite a while. Now, those game cams, the batteries last a long time. You don't have to put a lot of money in those batteries. Now, you got cellular signal game cams and you got non-cellular signal, and all of them use like memory cards. So the ones that doesn't have a cell signal, you gotta go out there and pull the card periodically. And then for me, it's fun. I go out there, I pull the card, slide it in here. I got my card reader. I like to take this right here. It allows me to put different different memory cards, different size memory cards, and all that kind of stuff. I take it out there. I can connect it to my phone. I can connect it to my laptop, my pad, whatever. and then I can just take a look at it. They do have accessories where you got card readers while you out there and you don't even have to pull the card. Now, some of my cameras, I don't even have to pull the card. I can toggle through because they have a screen, a small screen where you can look at the pictures and see what has been taken, right? And you can just toggle through them. All game cams are different, you know. Of course, sometimes don't get caught up in the price of a game cam. Get caught up in the build quality, because some very expensive game cams are not the best, especially when you're dealing with rain. My biggest issue with cellular game cams are the moisture, the rain. The regular game cam, I really don't have no issue with moisture or anything like that. But the more higher end game cams, pay attention to the construction, the build quality. You know, a lot of them, when you open and close the door, they have like this foam around them. That foam will wear out over a period of time. Make sure that clasp, that clamp is easy to open and easy to close, because they'll get brittle on you. They'll crack. So just look at the build quality. Where does the battery go in? I love game cams where the battery goes in the bottom of it, and it has a release where it's slow release rather than just dropping it and spitting it out. I like certain things like that, because sometimes you're in a compromised position and you got that game cam where you got to twist and bend to even get to it. You don't want to be like you engage or disengage the cartridge for the battery and it just flies out. And now you got to reach and do all of that. So, you know, I like to look at the build quality over the price, because some game cams may not be the most expensive, but they well built. So just think about moisture. That's the biggest threat to a game cam, is moisture. Let's see. Gigi said, I saw something you put out there on a tree the other day, and I was definitely curious. See, and it doesn't have to be big. You know, you can take a thumbnail, and you could take a dollar bracelet and put it somewhere on a tree, or a post-it note, and write down "I see you" on the post-it note, and put it in permanent marker, and thumbtack it to a tree. And somebody be walking through and they say, "I see you." First thing they're gonna do is what? Now you're causing doubt. Now you got that little note there. They're like, and maybe I should find somewhere else to go. Maybe I should find something a whole lot easier to kind of trespass, you know. So there are small things that you can do to deter not only wildlife, but also deter the two-legged animals too, on top of that. So there's a lot of creative things. What's going on? Make it make sense. It ought to make some sense. If you're gonna do it, it ought to make some sense. Come on through. Good to see you. So okay, that did answer your question. Okay, I'm glad to answer your question, because yeah, there's so many different. Now, one thing I do want to let you know with game cams, there is a monthly charge with the cellular game cams. So you have to pay a monthly fee per month, because they work on a cellular signal. Also, I've seen people say, I don't have cellular signal, I don't want to pay for that. You don't have to pay for it. You can get a good quality camera still, buy that camera, and you don't have to pay every month for it. So imagine this, okay? Just say you didn't pay for your monthly subscription, right? But you got your game cam and you got them out there, and just say you don't live on the property and you just come and check your property periodically, right? So that month you came and you checked it, and you noticed that one of your little sign, your branch has been broke, and you put it at the height of a human and not an animal, and you notice there's some fishy, you seen some maybe cigarette buds down on the ground, you seen something unusual, and now you go and you set up your camera around that area where you saw something unusual. Then cut that service on for a month, right? Cut that service on for a month, and then you will get signals when somebody is actually out there. So guess what you can do? Somebody's out here on my land, I can't get to them right now. I can call the sheriff's office and call them to go check it out because somebody is trespassing. Because remember, it's delayed only seconds. So they don't know they've been watched, you know. They've been comfortable. Remember, people are patterns. They just like animals. If it's no resistance the first time, they feel like they can do it again. Then guess what you can do? You can call and hopefully they're still there. And people can, or it gives you enough time if you can get to your property, give you enough time to get there. Or if you own your property, you know, because if you got a decent amount of acreage, you can be on your property. It gives you enough time to get to that location. So just because you have a cellular game cam does not mean you're locked into a committed contract where you got to do it for a year or do it for 6 months. The ones that I have now, let me just say that because I don't know what's all out there, but the ones I have, I like to use the tactical cam. The tactical cam is the one I really like. I've tried a lot of other Bushnell. I won't name the other ones. I tried a lot of other ones, and I was disappointed, not with the operation of the game cam, but the build quality. Because when we get rain here, which I'm praying for some rain, it's an overcast day. We haven't had rain here in months, but when we get a lot of heavy rain, the game cam has a lot of moisture in those cameras, and it totally destroys those cameras. And there's nothing more disappointing than spending your hard-earned money on something and you go to open it up because you haven't been getting those signals. You open it up and then you see moisture in there and it completely destroyed your game cam. So just look out for those things. Country Hustle 101. What's going on? What's up? What's up? Bless up. Bless up. Let's see. Country Hustle 101. So the only way to retrieve footage from the cam is the memory card. Is live feed possible? Yeah, you probably came in late, so you can get cellular game cams. Another thing, let me talk about video. So one brand that tactical, I'm going to talk about that one because that's what I know about. When something passes it, you can have it where it can take one picture, two pictures, like back to back, bam, 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 or you can have it where it start with video. You know, I like to have multiple shots when it's triggered, right? So I might have a couple of shots, but it takes up memory and it uses your battery. So keep that in mind too. And I like to have a video. It's a short video. It won't be a long video to save the memory and to save the battery. So you'll have a short little video. Now, if I see something suspicious and I'm not there to examine or to see, what I can do is I can order a download of the video. I already have the picture, the photograph, but if I want to see the video, they can download it to you. I think it's $5 per video. So if it's something like, wait a minute, it only caught the foot of somebody or something, and I know there was something else there, I want to know what that was, or I want to know who that was, because these are the things that just to give you an example, we seen people trespassing in cars. We had people walk on our property. We had people UTV on our property. We've had multiple people enter in different. There was time where it was one person. There was 4 or 5 people together that entered on our property. So you don't know, but those cameras, they are blessings, and they can also help and protect you too. They can show evidence that things had been happening. We've had law enforcement come back here. Like when we first got here, before we actually built anything, we cleared out the driveway. We had our RV back here, and we seen a sheriff come back here. The camera was able to capture the sheriff car number, the time, the date, and everything, right? Well, the sheriff was investigating what's back here. They still were trespassing. You see what I'm saying? So you don't know the movements unless you put some of these things in place to have you better prepared and better equipped. You know what I'm saying? And it's just one of those things that you want to do, and you want to make sure that you protect what you have. Now, every time we see something unusual, one thing that I wish I could baptize my beautiful queens at the house, they love to order online, and I hate it. I hate it with a passion. It's too much traffic, and it's too much unknown. Amazon is notorious for outsourcing different people coming. Um, if you can, try to find an alternate place to get your deliveries. Not only is it a liability back in these woods, people get curious. You know what I'm saying? So far, we haven't had any bad experiences. I'm not saying anything negative. We haven't had any bad experiences. I will say that. But it's just more information for more people to know what's going on and what it's all about. And if they may leave that job later on, they may do something and they might need something. They may be like, I remember. You see what I'm saying? So and we got dogs back here. We they loose sometimes, they're not a loose. And we try to communicate with each other when we're expecting packages and stuff like that, because when you have a dog that's a guard dog, I get concerned about the guard dog maybe doing something that I wouldn't want him to do to an innocent person. You know what I'm saying? So those are a lot of different things. But like I said, the game, I seen times we was on the back, not the back, because I haven't been to the back of our property yet, but not physically. But I've used drones and different things like that, which is another thing you can use. Drones are, to me, a must, especially if you have a large piece of land. So you get something that kicks off and the game cam alerts you and let you know something has happened. You send up that drone, you look at it, you examine it. Oh, that's a deer. Oh, that's a such and such. Then you can fly back. And you can also see encroachments. Like sometimes if you got adjoining property, some people, they may move new there. They may start building on a piece or corner of your property that's wooded. You're using that wood buffer. You want to make sure that you keep your property line, make sure there's no encroachments, there's nothing on there. And because it can get sticky if they start encroaching and then they stay there for a period of time in certain states. So you want to be aware of that. You might have also nomads, wandering people. Sometimes they can live out in the woods, and you want to keep watch, make sure there's no tents, no tarps, no none of that stuff. So you want to keep a lot of that stuff, keep it clean, keep it safe, because some people, they may also get sticky fingers and they may be putting stuff on your property to stash it for a while, which people have been known in the rural areas to do that. Like they'll live down the road and they know that they may have been seen, so they'll stash some of their things that they found with their sticky fingers on your property, and they'll stash it there till it cools down and then pull it back out. So all of these different things, you want to be aware, you want to be mindful to make sure that you monitor your property. That's a great line of defense. Okay, you want to definitely do that. Okay, let's see. Hey, Wellness, how you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you today. uh Gigi says the cameras help me and the ladies so much. I would say it's like a must. Game cams are a must. You hear that? Okay, dog. I've been talking. Listen, listen. I don't know if y'all can hear that. That's a cardinal. It's something over there. You hear the cardinal? I'm hoping y'all can hear it. It's something over there. Whenever they make that chirp sound, that sharp chirp, and they keep chanting, something's over there. Because I've been out here for so long, it's in the woods. I don't hear a lot of trampling or nothing like that. It could be a cat. It could be anything. You know, deers are pretty good too. We got a lot of deers out here, and they love walking around. And Shaka hate them. If Shaka catch a deer, which Shaka they have caught a deer or two, they're notorious for getting. But yeah, those are the things you want to listen out for. Um, you hear it, good. See, whenever you hear that sound, something's over there. So that's what I love about cardinals. Even growing up, cardinals and um, the brown thrashers and different birds. But cardinals are great alarm systems. Now, sometimes you will ignore them, sometimes, but when you out there in the woods, like out here in the open, I'm not worried about it because I can scare something, except for maybe man. But anything else, I could just stand up and say, hey, that was another line of defense. Make yourself seen, make yourself known, and stand bold. And most wildlife will say, I'm out of here. I don't want no parts or piece of it. So it's not as intimidating like you see a lot of these movies and a lot of these shows. All you have to do is just stand and make yourself known. Okay, another line of defense. I talked about setting up different decoys. Another line of defense is the big elephant in the room. Of course, somebody asked me one time, do you really need seed dispensers on your property? Do you really need those things on your property? I love knives. I love a lot of other things. Some people, they use bear spray. Um, that's a good environment. If you don't like the seed dispensers, you may want to do cayenne mixes, oregano mixes. One of our dear sisters was sharing with us about oregano spray that she makes. She'll get a bottle spray and she'll put some water and she'll get pure oregano oil and she'll shake it up. And if something come round in the face, she just have to spray. Cayenne pepper is another thing. Um, it's so many different things that you can do other than seed dispensers, but it's a must-have for us. Like I said before, depends on how rural you are. It's gonna take law enforcement in most cases, unless you're extremely lucky, it's gonna take them at least 40 minutes to get to you. Sometimes even more. So it's so important. 40 minutes is a long time. And if you ever get into a scuffle or anything like that, fighters don't fight for 40 minutes. The rounds be 3 to 5 minutes long. You know what I'm saying? So understand this. You don't want nothing too close to you either. Also, there's been times where, like I said, I was over here and I had the well house, my little well house, and I had an umbrella, and I pulled out the umbrella and I opened the umbrella up, and a snake dropped down. We have coral snakes out here. We have rattlers out here. We have things that can truly hurt you. We don't have too much water, so I haven't seen cottonmouths, but we have things that can truly hurt you. Like I said, there could be rabid animals sometimes that you may encounter. I like to look at, when I'm out here, I like to look at what they call it. Back in the Western days, get comfortable with one when you walking around, you out here on your land, be comfortable with having those seed dispensers because they are necessary sometimes. Not doesn't mean that you're going to have to shoot it on or dispense it on someone or something, but sometimes all you need to do is just warn. And you're walking down the path and you see something and you startled it, and that animal is slowly starting to come to you because now that adrenaline in that animal is going. Sometimes all you need to do is dispense one to the ground, and then they run off. Most things don't like a lot of noise. You know what I'm saying? They don't like to be scared either. That's another deterrent. So, would I recommend them? Yes, and not just one kind. I would get a variety for different things. It's a difference between if you go hunting, and it's another difference when you're defending yourself or when you're in a closed in area. You want to have one for the right appropriation and have them in multiple locations because you never know. Because you are your own law enforcement for till the law enforcement get there. You know what I'm saying? And that could save you a lot of time. Now, getting off of that, let me get on to one that so many people don't pay attention. Flashlights. Fam, get you some high-powered flashlights. They got luminance. The luminance is the intensity of the light. I'm going to tell you, flashlights have saved me so many times. It's crazy. Not only from two-legged animals, but also four-legged animals as well. Flashlights are a must-have, and you want the brightest one that your money can afford, and you want multiple ones in multiple areas. Let me tell you the reason why. Those seconds and them reacting to the light can save you maybe your life. If people are stunned or surprised, or animals are surprised by light, they typically run or they have to react. So imagine you're walking and you seeing somebody and they don't see you because they're in a different environment. They don't know what to focus on. They don't know where you may be, where you may not be. You know what I'm saying? I got chairs and I got seating all over the property. Sometimes I just sit there. I'm quiet. I'm just sitting there. And I know it's a pattern. You're coming on the property at night and you keep coming on the property at night. And I notice you keep coming. And so I might sit there and I'm sitting there at night and I might sit right there and I'm not moving. And then you come and I hit you with a bright light and I say, hey, get out of here. It scares the living daylights and they can't even see you because the light is so bright. They like, and guess what happens when they turn they face away from the light? They're still blind. It's almost like looking at the sun. I'm telling you, bright lights, whether you're in the city or wherever, a flashlight, a bright flashlight, the higher the luminance, the better the flashlight is. It can be a great deterrent and surprise element. Get off my property. Say it with a passion. Say it. It scares people and they get to running. You know what I'm saying? Not just people, animals too. And you didn't even have to even open up the seed dispenser. You know what I'm saying? They stare at that light. They're blinded by the light. They can't see whether it's one or two or three of y'all or none of that. And guess what they do? They turn around and they take off, right? Okay. Now, let me share with you all another thing that you can do. You can have Bluetooth speakers on your property. And you say, Eco, what are you talking about, Bluetooth speakers? Bluetooth speakers on your property. Let me tell you what Bluetooth speakers can do. Waterproof Bluetooth speakers, and especially when you're seeing patterns. I'm talking about when you're seeing patterns. So I'll give you an example. If you're noticing at certain times of the night or even during the day, you may see a predatory animal. You may see some owls. Well, I love messing with my owls now with my Bluetooth speakers. So let me give you an example. If I put a Bluetooth speaker in a certain area and I want to attract owls, right? I've been seeing a lot of rodents traffic, a lot of rodents. They just constantly around. So I can at night cut on my Bluetooth speaker and play some owl calls, and before you know it, it'll be 4 and 5 owls out here. I'm talking about we got some big old owls. When I say big owls, we have some gigantic owls, and I could bring them around just by playing another owl. Next thing you know, is more owls. It works, fam. I'm trying to tell you. But be careful now. Don't play around. Don't be out here. And you sitting out, because I did that one time, and I sat out here, and next thing you know, you don't really hear them because they don't have no, I don't know what kind of, how they fly, but you don't hear them. But you feel it when they fly by you. You know what I'm saying? So be careful with this stuff now. This thing can really, really be beneficial. So imagine by the chicken coop. You know, their coons and all that stuff keep visiting every night. So just record or go to YouTube, download some dog barks, some strong, rich dog barks, or even coyote or whatever calls. Be careful now. Like I said, it can be dangerous. You could be welcoming in something too. So you got to be selective about what you're doing. But you got some strategies where you can do that. Or record some sounds of people talking. All right. Go to maybe a family reunion or gathering or even whatever. And just record multiple people talking. Or even get with family members and say, hey, what are you doing over there? Hey, I don't know what are you doing. You know, have different voices. And then if you hear something, you know something, and you got speakers in there, you know those patterns are there, you can play that, and it sounds like multiple people are around. Or for animals, they don't like people a lot of times. So you can have that Bluetooth speaker set up, and you can play that, and it can keep some of the big mammals away from certain parts of your property. Okay, so that's just something that I ain't talking about what I thought about, but things that I've done personally and successfully done. I'm telling you, it can be a deterrent that way. Because remember, you ain't got enough seeds to deal with all of this stuff, man. It's just too, and you don't want to eliminate everything. You know what I'm saying? And you don't want to get locked up because that thing get fishy. The most times you want that to be your last resort, because all you're trying to do is establish a pattern. Because animals are not dumb. If every time I go around this chicken coop, there's a dog barking or people talking, I'm gonna find a easier access, because there's a bunch of chicken coops out here in this country. And so I'm gonna find an easier place to get my food from, right? They ain't stupid. They even tell each other, hey, bro, you don't want to go up over there by Eco Nation right there, because tell you, them people be out there all times of night. They be watching, and this, I don't know, it's kind of scary right there, man. I don't know what's up. So you got different things that you can do, and you got to be creative, fam. And it can be fun and entertaining too at the same time. Now that Bluetooth speaker can work too if you want to track certain things too. You know, not for hunting now. Don't get that twisted. Do not do this for hunting, because that's entrapment. You can get locked up for that. But I'm talking about if you're a photographer, you're a bird watcher or something like that, it's pretty cool. You know, you might play a call of an animal, and then next thing you know, you'll find an animal kind of finding his way, looking to see what's going on right there. You know what I'm saying? Now, not for hunting now. Don't get that twisted, okay? All right, y'all. Y'all, I just want to share with a few defenses and different creative defenses. If y'all like this kind of content, you like to continue, because I got about 50 million more that I would like to share. But anyway, I don't want to keep prolonging everything, but I just want to kind of share with some things. What's up, Audrey's Living Life? What's going on? Good to see you. Yeah, but yeah, if you all like it, please share it out. You know, some people buying some land, getting ready to get some land, and they're looking for some creative ways to protect their land, protect their family. There's a lot of different creative ways that you can do it, and you can do it in a cost-effective manner, and it'll be less stress on you, and it give you a little bit more ease, and you'll feel a whole lot more confident out here, and it'll allow you to just thrive in your own environment, y'all. But I hope everything is well on your side, and whatever you do, don't forget to keep on growing. Grow. Take care. Until the next time, y'all. Stay blessed. Peace.